we are live. Welcome to
What's
the
going on?
slightly improved FNA show, where we're going to discuss some FiveM news and do some analysis. Like last week, I have Rusty with us.
What?
And we also have a developer and previous server owner, Nick, with us. You could say something.
What's going on?
All right. So we got quite a few topics here. We're going to have some open forum. We got a couple of new features that we're going to be doing this week. And I guess we can just go ahead and kick it off. We're a little late to the game on this because the March FiveM progress report is about to come out. But we can take a look at that here. So this is the February 2019 progress report. Came out, I think, February 18th. And sorry, just can't get the doc open here.
Come on, get on it.
I don't know what's going on. There we go. Oh, Alt-Enter. Why would it be Alt-Enter? Well, if you guys have that open, if one of you want to point out some things that you see that's pretty interesting in here, and I'll get it pulled up.
I don't even.
Yeah, I don't have that pulled up either right now.
There it is. What in that? Hey, this is
There we go.
This is show one right there. We obviously did not do that. Fatal error.
I just got that too. I just copied and pasted it, and it did pull up here. Sorry for the delay. Technical difficulties right off the bat. Great way to start the show, right? And all right, let's take a look here. So I've got it pulled up, and so one of the kind of cool things about it is 23,000 concurrency peak, which is pretty awesome.
They just tweeted out that's changed.
Yeah, I saw that they had gotten over 30, I think, which is awesome.
Yep.
Some just kind of general improvement stuff on the back end. Nothing too crazy there, as far as I can see. Some scripting fixes, which is awesome. In that update, they don't really talk a whole lot about OneSync or anything like that. They talk a little bit about it, I think, but not too much. But it looks like just kind of general fixes in this update. Nothing really too new, right?
Yeah, general breaking up things, fixing things. Yep. We're good there.
Hey, we got Dark Theme. Dark Theme was huge, right?
Dark Theme.
Yeah, in my
was
opinion,
amazing.
Dark Theme doesn't look great.
No, I think they need to work on their color schemes, but I'm a big proponent of Dark Theme.
I'm
yeah,
not
don't
a
get me wrong,
fan
it's
of
better
their
than my
web.
one, but-
I'm not a fan of their website Dark Theme. It changes the text.
Well, and some of that text is hard. Becomes really hard to read too. Now that they have
Well,
the
when
different
you
colors
yeah,
and
when you
stuff
go to
like
do
that.
it though, they literally change the font on you
Yeah.
in Dark Theme on desktop mode. It's like, why would you change the font? Just really? I don't know. Don't ask me. I like to complain.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that exciting of a launch. I know they're still working on some mumble stuff. So experimental ARIA 2 based resource download subsystem. So they're trying to make it a little bit more efficient, but that's all experimental at this point. Debugging and add story mode command, which loads single player. I mean, that's gonna be kind of cool for some people that really want to be able to customize their game without getting into the game files. I think the big problem with that is LSPDFR. I don't know if that's going to load through story mode or if you still have to modify the actual game file. So we'll have to take a look at that as it kind of comes out. And then a bunch of stuff that's unfinished and they're still working on. So not much to talk about there, huh?
Nope.
So any thoughts on any of that? I think it's all pretty self-explanatory there, right?
Yeah, pretty, you know,
cut and
my
dry.
whole thing. Yeah, you know, but it was just insane. You know, February and the beginning part of March, it's been 3-4 times a day updates of FiveM.
Just
Every
bug
time.
fixes and stuff, it seems like.
Yep, and I'm all for fixing bugs. Trust me, we've been doing it all day ourselves. But there comes a point when you think you have a solid base for your server, and then an update comes through and it changes just enough stuff to monkey with things, just to put a wrench in everything.
Right. Well, I do have one thing that we could take a look at here. This is a new feature. I'm sure it'll be part of the March report. This is going to be pretty exciting for a lot of people, I think. Oop. But this is the Discord identifier new feature. It's a beta feature. So this actually allows Discord instead of Steam, things like that. So it allows Discord identifiers for setting your admins, syncing players, things like that. So I think that'll be really big. And I think that's going to be very helpful as far as writing potentially scripts outside of Discord to make sure that they're connecting into the game nice, which should be pretty cool.
Yeah, from what I've gathered from this and talking to a few other people, what the biggest advantage of this is going to be, someone's going to join your server. You're going to be able to put them into a whitelist role on your Discord.
Mm-hmm.
When they go and log in on your server and it checks against Discord, it's going to see that they have that whitelisted role. It's automatically going to whitelist them for your server.
Well, not only that, but think about some of the other advantages. Setting somebody as law enforcement on a roleplay server will automatically give them access to the law enforcement stuff in server.
Yes.
Just crazy stuff like that. So I think this is going to be a great addition. You know, it's gonna make, you know, keeping track of. So before, if you ban somebody, you'd have to go to Discord and ban them. You'd have to go to TeamSpeak and ban them. You have to go to your server and de-whitelist them, things like that. I think this is just going to simplify things for a lot of servers that don't necessarily have connected CADs or anything like that. So I think that's going to be pretty huge. I just can see a lot of advantages to this being added to FiveM, which is huge. Nick, what do you think about that, kind of being a CAD developer? What do you think about
I'm kind of excited for it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
how can you see this being used?
Well, I mean, you can either have two options. Let's say that we're talking about the whitelisting thing. You can either add the role on the Discord, or in the case that you are adding someone to the CAD, just press one button on the CAD, it removes them everywhere. So either way, it's good for me, I guess. But I'm ready for it.
Awesome. I mean, yeah, I can see a lot of advantages to that and having that access. So that should be really awesome. All right. There wasn't a whole lot of stuff. I dug all over the announcements, forums, everything. Couldn't find a whole lot of things that were really new and exciting. I will show you something that I'm very excited about. I think this is going to be really beneficial for the community kind of as a whole. And I think that the more languages, coding languages that FiveM brings in, I think the more developers that they will have, and really, so this is a new feature, a new, I think it's just a plugin. It's a wrapper for your JavaScript essentially that gives you basically basically connects you right into to not just the default natives, but it allows you to have access to other natives too, or like some of the other stuff. So the advantage of this is what I'm seeing is your C++, C# developers, those guys have had access to basically natives or functions inside the server that and inside GTA that we didn't have as Lua developers. And having a wrapper like this that's going to potentially give us access to those is going to be pretty huge, right? So they can write that in, C#, C++, and then kind of convert those features out to allow your JavaScript Lua people to have access to it. And doing it in JavaScript, I feel, is just a really great way of doing that. So now, for example, I know that I was talking to another developer not that long ago on the car remote script that we have. It's a private script, so but we were trying to make the lights flash with locking and unlocking the car like a normal car remote would work on your normal car. You hit the lock button, the lights flash twice, whatever the case may be. And so this is potentially a really great way for Lua or JavaScript developers to have better access to some of the functionality. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Personally, I'm not a. I love that they're adding things. I'm not a coder per se, so I don't have any personal. But yes, in the whole grand scheme of things, for coders, for developers, it's going to be a great, functionality.
Kind of with him on that. I don't really do FiveM programming anymore, but if I did, I think it'd be useful.
Well, you do to an extent, right? I mean, your CAD does connect into FiveM to an extent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess the biggest thing is just having that, opening up that library to more users, opening up a new language that will attract more developers. I will tell you, going from JavaScript to Lua was not an easy transition. They're very, very similar, but just little nuances. I still like writing, every once in a while, writing an if-then statement. I'll just do if, because you don't have to do the if-then. There's some other little nuances between the languages, so having it kind of as a dedicated language is kind of nice, and I think it's definitely going to open stuff up. And this wrapper giving us some of the access to the C# resources that those guys have is going to be awesome as well. So just one dependency. Also, directly in there, we'll have the native UI like menus, which is nice. That's a new, and things like that. So it should be pretty awesome stuff. And looks like it's
I think
pretty easy to implement as well.
I think if I worked with Fiverr, I would probably actually look into that. But I do work with FiveM, just not enough to worry about it at this point, I think.
Well, there might be some C# natives that you don't have access to that might be helpful. So even taking a look at it and just seeing what they have access to might be beneficial,
Yeah.
Awesome. Any other thoughts on that?
Nope.
All right, let's take a look here, see what we got. Wasn't a lot of great topics out there. So those are the main topics that I had to get started. So the next one here is why don't you talk to us a little about what you got going on over at Metro MDT?
Yeah. 1 second. Well, I mean, we released early this month. I want to say a week and a half ago-ish, and I've already pushed one update since then. Currently, we sell 2 different themes of the same CAD. And then those are a one-time fee, and then you only pay like $5 a month to continue the upgrades and support. Pretty soon, within the next week or two, it's going to have full FiveM integration. So whitelisting is going to be included in there. It is right now. You just have to request it personally, which has happened so far. It's going to have the register vehicle support in game, so you can do /REGVEH, and it will register your vehicle in the CAD, which is super, super handy. And then it'll have a couple other things like /panic to enable your panic button and things like that. So not much going on, but I'm also looking to making another theme for next month, which could possibly be replacing one of them. Don't know yet, but that's about it right now.
All right, you got both a non-ESX and ESX version.
The ESX version is coming soon.
Okay, coming
That
soon.
is not released just yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so that'll work with the built-in ESX registration methods and stuff like that, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll add a couple of things to the database.
You have me intrigued already.
Well, there is a version that is basically that we use for the other NARP that we're looking into releasing pretty soon. Still figuring that out, but if not, I'll be rewriting one. And yeah, it'll essentially work with the ESX database that already exists, and then I'll add a couple of things to it. That way you don't have to change your server at all. It'll just work with your server. So things you could do is like change job, have specially whitelisted jobs, law enforcement, things like that. If people want custom jobs, you can add those in there. You can manage your jobs, manage money, transfer money, things like that.
Awesome. And this is based on a previous CAD that you had developed for basically several different communities.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
Yeah, it was used by AC/DC and Dark Shield up until 2 weeks ago when they switched their own version. But they used that for a year and a half. So.
Well, and everybody can go take a look. There's links to the Discord if you have questions or anything about it. Full list of features on the website here. It's metromdt.com. And there's also a demo that you can get in and play with a little bit as well. So that sounds pretty awesome. So Rusty, what do you think about that?
I am our current one that we use. Well, we're technically using 2 CADs right now because we purchased a CAD, a subscription, and we have yet to have time to learn it to roll it out. So we're using one of the free CADs currently, and that's half broken. So looking at this has some of the features that we're looking for, but I'm intrigued 100%. I'm personally, after the show, going to go look myself.
And Nick, you and I were talking about it previously, and you're even offering setup service and everything, right?
Yeah, I'm offering setup services for any community that wants it. There is a pricing list for that on the Discord as well. However, I mean, those prices are probably going to change because it doesn't take that long to set up.
Well, and it's based on availability and things like that too. So
yeah, exactly.
I mean, you are limited on time. How many actual installs you could do in any particular given day or anything. So
yeah,
definitely can understand that.
And I think the benefit of it, I guess, for your community there is, I know I was at least told how much you guys pay for the CAD. I'm not going to publicize that, but you're basically going to pay
Yes.
one fee
Right.
for MetroCAD, and then
Yeah.
you only pay $5 a month after that.
Yeah, and looking at that, I would think that the one we're going to be our middle one right now, the one that's not been released. We are fortunate that we made the decision right away to only pay the monthly because we did not know what we were gonna do. So that's a benefit that we have. If we were to say move to your system, but what's the little bit of money that we've spent now, rather than they did offer us to buy it outright, which came to the cost of like 3 years worth of little less than if we were to pay monthly for 3 years. We could have bought it out, but we chose not to.
Yeah,
So
and if you do decide
in your head, since you do know the price, you could figure out how much that kind of was, but
yeah, that's
for
a lot.
being that we're sitting here talking, with you and your CAD, neither one of the CADs we use, I will mention, because everybody should go check out your CAD, definitely, and buy it right now.
Yeah, another cool thing is if you're using one of the versions and you're completely content with that version, you don't need any more updates. You don't have to pay the $5 a month. That's just for upgrades and support. So,
well,
that's a plus.
And everybody should know that this is still a beta.
Though?
There's still there's still bugs being found, things like that. So, and Nick he's been very responsive at making sure he's getting things fixed. The update he pushed was in result to a bug that somebody found, and he pushed it out basically same day. So that's pretty huge.
Well, I'd say a couple things. There's some pros and cons, mostly all pros of going with somebody like Nick here with his. The biggest pro is probably if there's a feature you can think of, I'm pretty sure if you message him, he's gonna probably, correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, you're gonna try to find a way to implement that.
Oh yeah, and there's actually
someone has a great idea.
I think there's a link to the Discord. Yeah, there is on the Metro MDT website. If you go in there's actually an MDT features channel, which shows all of the planned features, and then I added that whenever someone brings one in. So you can track exactly what's going to be coming within the next couple of weeks.
That's pretty awesome. So what do you have any new features you want to share with us on that that are going to be coming?
The next couple of things is going to be the action interaction reports and NVA PVV reports, as well as firearm discharge reports. Basically, a lot of reporting because that's what adds realism to the communities. Another thing would be license suspensions and full medical reports for communities that actually run EMS. Those are probably the most requested thing. And then, of course, there's a couple other ones in the Discord you can look at. But those are on higher in my to-do list, at least.
Awesome.
Yep. I made the executive.
There you go.
Hey, if any of my other co-owners are watching the show, say goodbye to that other one. It didn't even make the lease.
So this is just, I guess I left this kind of blank for like an open forum type thing. If you guys have any topics that you'd like to bring in, talk about as well. Anything that you've seen recently that feels like needs some opinions thrown at it or points of view?
Biggest thing I would have to say is make sure that your server hardware can withstand a overnight barrage of members.
Yeah, so you were averaging I think probably about 10 to 20 maybe users on a weekend, right?
Yeah, on a weekend. Weekdays were that 10 range, 10, 11 people. A good chunk of those were original beta testers and all of that were coming back and just making money and helping us still develop the server, because in all reality we are still a beta server.
Well, why don't we just jump right over to one of our spots? I was going to save this for a little bit later in the show, but we are now launching a new segment called Server Spotlight. where we're gonna try to get some guest hosts in so they can talk about their servers and what's going on. If they can't join, the server owner can't join, we'll try to get some information and share it out with you guys. So today's server spotlight is New Age Roleplay, and that is Live with Rusty. He's one of the co-owners of New Age Roleplay and also a host on the show here. So we figured we'd start right there. So yeah, definitely one of the topics I wanted to talk to you about on this was, so welcome to spring break. But you went from an average of 10 to 20 users on a weekend to a full server, hitch errors, scripts crashing,
server crashing
for what, 5 or 6 days straight until you got the hardware kind of boosted
we're still
up.
having problems.
And so you're not only pegging out at the 32 users, but you are also running a queue of almost 10 people at a time, right?
I can tell you what the queue is right now. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. So just talk to us about that huge upswing in members, and what the pros and cons are for you while you're pulling that up.
Pro of it. Oh, Jesus, Martha. Pros is that our server's getting noticed. And we're being able to test some things that we didn't think we'd ever have to worry about. We did not plan on being a big server. Our whole thing was when we started, well, I came in the middle of developing. Ziff, one of, soon to hopefully be one of the other guys that'll pop into the show on a frequently basis. He started developing this probably summer of last year, just for fun. He's a coder. He loves computers, things like that. He just did it for a side gig just to keep himself busy. And in October or November, I was brought in by a mutual friend. They played on another server together. And I was brought in by a mutual friend and said, hey, I know a guy who needs some liveries made, because that's what I did. I was a livery guy, I know Photoshop and all that. Was brought in. He goes, yeah, I don't want to be too big, just whatever. I'll be happy, 15, 20 people, a place for people to get together. I said, okay, yeah, cool, I'll make some liveries. Well, that ventured into full dev and then into co-ownership. So we go on from there and we go to launch. Go live, come out of, direct connect only and being all secretive on it. Biggest problem we had there is the server we were on, hosting the server, would not announce to FiveM. We could not announce. It would not show up in the server list. Sorted that problem out by getting a new box. Then we're like, okay, 5, 6, 7, 8 people, whatever, up into the point of, we had about 15. We hit a peak of 21 was our peak. And that was on a Saturday afternoon during the snowstorm or something, and then it died again, back to 10. Okay. Friday. I was getting ready to go play Division 2 and I get a message going, what the heck is going on? What do you mean what's going on? We're full. Oh, crap. What? Are we getting punked by FiveM?
I remember you said you thought you were getting DDoS there for a minute.
I'm like, yeah, are they trying to DDoS us? Is someone taking over the server? What's going on? This can't be real. There's no way our little server that, is being initially developed by 2 guys that whatever is getting 32 full members with, and the funniest thing is when we went live and we actually started announcing, I'm like, hey, I'm going to put the FiveM queue in. Hey, we need that, as a joke. And we never removed it. And it came in handy because we were sitting on Friday night. We were sitting at one point, we had a queue of 20. We had
on
52
top of the 32
people
in game. Yep.
Yeah, we had 52 people. I literally, because I hadn't set up overrides yet in reserve slots, I sat in a 15-man queue to get my own server. It happens. Whatever. You learn. But yes, currently we are having RQ don't need to hit the 1013 button, but okay. Currently we are having some hiccups. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday we were noticing a lot of lag on the server, this and that. I contacted the owner of the box that we are on, that we rent from. I was like, I need more hardware. I don't know what we're at because we never talked about this. We just rented from you. And he goes, all right. So we went from a 6 core 8 gigs to a 8 core 16 gig, and we're still having issues. We just got done about an hour ago, just before the show started, implementing some reserve slots so we can keep the random number, the random players number down to about 20-25. And then we have a reserve of 7 members so that admins and moderators and cops can get in. But yeah, we are currently sitting at a queue right now. 11 are sitting in queue currently with 32 on. 32 on, 11 sitting in queue. If you're new to FiveM and you're developing a server or something like that, be prepared. At any point, it can make a left turn and you could be the most popular server on FiveM. And only thing we can think of is we had 3 or 4 people streaming. We are a stream friendly, server. We tried our best to make everything full controller friendly. Everything's designed around to make a streamer's life easier so they can stream on the server. But so we had 3 or 4 people. So our number went up to like 23, I think, on Friday. And what I'm assuming is top of the list. And, we have new in our name, so we're new. And we might have to change it to old age RP here soon.
Old age RP. Old guys only.
Copywritten and trademarked. Yeah, copyright and trademarked right there. But that's the only thing I could think of, is that we were high up in the server list when people were randomly searching, and we had our tags and things like that done right, that it looked like something people want. And we've been having nothing but problems. Honestly, it's been a headache. And people keep, I'm getting messages, hey, I see that the server crashed. How long before it's restarted? Oh, give me a couple minutes. Okay, and the second I hit that restart button, within 30 seconds of the server being live, we're back to 20. And then it takes a couple minutes, we're back to 32. Bam.
Right. Yeah, and that's definitely, so the plan of attack to help remedy this is, I think you're probably going to start a one sync dev server and start testing your server on a one sync dev server. But you're also considering probably putting up a second server.
Yes, I would say this week we will have server 2 up and running, so that at least gives the people the opportunity to play. Obviously, one of the 2 servers may or may not have less members, but with these queue numbers,
I suppose you have a new feature request for Nick, and that would be to make it to where Metro MDT will work with multiple servers running on the same database.
Yes,
huh?
That is that's a plan already.
Sounds
This
like
week's
Rusty's
plan?
gonna need it sooner than later.
Yeah. First, I gotta get the CAD though.
Okay. Well, sign me up. I'm there. Screw it. We're there.
And then,
somebody
so I
keeps
guess
trying
other
to-
than that,
somebody keeps trying to get me to use his CAD that he has that you already make. So I was like, hey, you got the new one. Let's go with that one.
so I guess tell me about what other pain points do you have running a community, developing, just nothing too crazy, but
Honestly,
what are your biggest pain points?
Flat out, the biggest pain is dubs. I mean, players. Love you, dubs. No. Biggest pain is keeping everybody happy. Plain and simple. I'm not. I'm here. We developed this just for a place for people to hang out, and we want to maintain that. We don't want to be one of those servers that only caters to a select few. We want to be able to be you know, new age roleplay is just not FiveM. We run Minecraft servers. We're talking about, once we get this settled, other games. I know FiveM and all them keep talking about possibly bringing out a Red Dead Redemption, style of FiveM. We would love to run one of those. We're more of a community, and we want to do other things besides just a FiveM server. We want to give it a place for people to go and hang out and have multiple avenues to go and play games on. But the biggest headache is when you have people that are new or uninformed, I would say, about how a server is run, and they're blowing your DMs up in Discord or messaging you going, I'm lagging, fix it.
Yeah, and you try to address all of those as you can, but
yep,
you only have so much time in a day, so much resources. So I guess what's going really well for the server right now?
Player base.
Player base is awesome. Absolutely.
I guess some of the things that are going good, we've met a lot of great people. Matter of fact, if it wasn't for New Age Roleplay, I wouldn't have met you.
That's
wouldn't
true.
have now met Nick. There's some other names, out there that people may know that, we've met up that are great people. We call him Default Danny. We met him, Mr. Chip and, Ark. And a bunch of other people. I have a whole new community of.
And Ark's been a lifesaver for you recently.
Well, yes, Ark is probably, that's why his name in the New Age Discord is now Ark the God, because he is a god. And I will say it publicly. If I see that man, I will hump his leg. He is a godsend. He's helped us out a lot because he knows Lua. I am not a coder, like I've said. I can take a script, I can look at a script, I can see things if we want them changed. I could not sit down and write a script. I could. It would break everything, but the few things that he's done for us, that the work you both have done on that key fob, phenomenal. It's just, you can't go wrong. But yeah, the people that I've met have been great. Ziff, I'm pretty sure, would say the same thing. He's kind of being a little lazy today, and he's sitting in Mexico on a cruise ship, so he's not here. So
if anybody feels he messaged me, I think he's watching the show though, so that's good.
Oh, is he watching the show?
I think he's watching.
Oh, he isn't. I should call him and harass him. I need more pictures from that cruise. Oh, wait. But yeah, I wouldn't have met Ziff if it wasn't for, this. And, when Mies Man brought me over just to, help him out for a couple hours to do a couple liveries, I did not think it was going to turn into the rest of my life.
Yep.
Yeah.
I get that. So what are the biggest new features you got coming down the pipeline?
A new CAD.
New CAD? Okay.
A new CAD. We are currently just had a script wrote for us. I'm pretty sure you can guess by who, that takes the ELS key binding or ELS style sirens and replaces Lux vehicle control.
Oh, very nice.
So it now has the ability that once we get all the bugs worked out of the server, because it is completely dependent on server sync. So once we get those bugs worked out, you can turn the lights on, you can turn the sirens on all individually, have chirp or whale mode. When an officer or a medic or firefighter gets out of their vehicle, it automatically shuts off their siren.
Which is how it works in real life.
Yep. Unless, someone forget. Yeah, but yeah, siren gets off.
Typically once it goes into park. When the vehicle goes into park is typically, so That's how it works in real life.
Yep. Park usually kills the siren. And let me think here. What other new things do we have coming down the pipeline? We're in the process of rewriting all the police scripts. Where you're just using ESX police job, you know, but kind of fine tuning it to our liking. We're ever evolving on our EUP. We are running EUP because we are, you know, one of the beta servers for FiveM, you know, the whole Patreon. So we have the opportunity to run EUP, and we're always changing the EUP to customize it to us. Like a lot of our badges say, you know, New Age roleplay right on the officers' badges.
Nice.
Trying to think of some of the new ones, you know.
And I think probably the big one that you have is I know I was talking to you the other day, and you were looking at loading a bunch of vehicles. And so I think those are all in your dev server, right? You got a bunch of new vehicles that potentially are coming down the line.
Yes, we actually have them loaded into the live server. We just not have that was the goal for the weekend, was to put them in our store and to get our player run vehicle shop up and running. But that got all changed when, you know, we got attacked by players. But so hopefully very shortly here, we have about 22 or 23 custom vehicles coming in. I think when we talk about one of those scripts here, you'll see a couple of those, because I'm actually running that script that we're going to talk about later on my server.
Gotcha.
So we can show it in live action.
Well, definitely check out newagerp.com, right? That's the website.
Yep, New Age.
And that's where
it's
a public server, so anybody's welcome to come in. So randos, if you can find a spot, feel free to jump in their server. Otherwise, you can become a member at newagerp.com and check them out there.
Direct connect link, if you don't want to search for us, is just play.newagerp.com in the direct connect, and you'll find the server there.
I do have that link.
Yeah, the Discord, the Twitter.
Yeah, and I do have that link in the description of the video as well, so feel free to go in there and check that out. And sorry, just throwing a link in there for Metro MDT as well. There you go. And I guess at this point, what we'll do is we'll open it up to some questions. If anybody has any questions, feel free to type them in the chat, and we'll take some of your questions. And while we're waiting on that, Nick, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, I can't think of anything off the top of my head now.
Okay, you've been pretty quiet, so I wanted to make sure I wake you up over there.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think FiveM is going through a little bit of a dry spell. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot going on. One thing I will say, I did see on the website, I think they're running their game mode contest again. They did it last year. I don't have a link or anything for it. But game modes are really, I think, what makes FiveM exciting. So you can take some of those like miniature games that are in FiveM and make them full-scale games. I've got a script here that I think is going to be pretty cool as well. So we'll take a look at that. So we've got a couple of scripts that we're going to be talking about here in a few minutes for our new segment, Scripts of the Week. So we've got 3 scripts that we'll talk about a little bit and get some opinion from these guys on as well.
So there's actually 2 comments over there on the YouTube page.
Okay.
So one of them's for Rusty over there, and the other one looks like it's for me.
Oh, and the one pertaining to Sheriff, just message 401 in the Discord. Get in the Discord, find 401 on the right-hand side, message him up. He's having an email issue right now. So that's why his applications are closed, but he is hiring. So just message him directly or find him in game and talk with him, and he'll get you squared away
Yeah, and
on sheriff.
for the people that are watching, well, never mind. I'll take that offline. um, and then let's see here.
The other one just says CADs need cookies to save logins. The CAD that, well, Metro MDT doesn't actually use cookies to save logins. At least it doesn't client side like a lot of other CADs do. It just makes it more secure. So when you log in with Steam, it doesn't exactly save your information. It just saves a little portion of it. That way, if anyone else gets a hold of that, they can't log into your account.
And the information it does take, it
it's
saves it directly into the database. Is that correct? So it takes in like the Steam
so
Steam
the user
hacks
is
and
never
stuff
gonna
like
see it.
that. Right.
Exactly. So it's a lot more secure than a lot of other CADs out there.
I guess I'd have one question on that. We were on an in-game tablet. It would be friendly with that because our officers, can pull a tablet up in-game and run through the CAD.
The CAD is hosted on whatever server you want to host it on. So if you host it on a website, for example, cad.newhrp.com. So if you wanted to pull that up on your tablet, if that works like that, I don't know if it does or not. Yes, it could definitely work with that.
So the tablet, it's an in-game tablet, right?
Yep, in-game tablet.
So the tablet in-game is long. So I think what he's asking is Metro MDT. Is it responsive enough to be able to fit into maybe a smaller browser window?
Yeah.
Okay.
It shrinks with your browser, so it should look the same for most people. Personally, I just have a separate setup, and I have a computer next to me that runs the CAD. But if I want to run in the tablet, it should work just fine.
And a lot of our guys do. Like myself personally, I have my iPad that sits here that I run that because a lot of times if I'm doing dev work, I'm still in our TeamSpeak because we run a TeamSpeak dispatch, and I have it here and I'm running dispatch back and forth, having the CAD up or Dubs, that he runs dispatch, and just has the tablet sitting there. But there's every once in a while when we don't have a unique dispatcher on, the guys are just quickly pulling up the tablet in game to run a license plate or something. So, but yeah, that works for me.
The other thing too is it could always be run through the overlay. Just shift tab in the Steam overlay. They could have a browser window open there.
Yep.
So that would at least
different ways.
Yeah. So that works out as well. So.
Yeah, the comment that just came in about that, I could easily make the CAD save your own login, so you didn't have to log in every day, as long as you use the same browser. It's just I wouldn't trust that enough. We used that on Aspirant Gaming for a little bit, or for the whole year and a half. Actually, I had that in there, but we never had any problems with it. But since I'm selling the product, I don't want any liabilities. So it's better if you log in every day than something going wrong.
And if you open it in the Steam browser, the other thing is if you have two-factor authentication set up, when you log in through the Steam browser, you do not have to do two-factor authentication because it's already authenticated. So that's a huge advantage there as well.
I would think also that if you're running it on, say, something like Chrome, Chrome a lot of times will save your login information for you outside of, the CAD. So it would automatically populate. I know a bunch of sites that don't save. Like my iPad, would, save the login on its own.
All right, looks like we have another question from Derek Griffin here. He's asking. He said, I heard that FiveM was going up to 64 players. Is that still true, or is that just a rumor going around? So it's actually true, and that's the one sync that we were talking about just a little bit ago. And theoretically, one sync could potentially go up to even 256 players based on resources and stuff like that. As of right now, under the beta, they've got it capped at 64 players, and it is still very, very much early access, and it's not even in beta state yet. But that is something that is available and working, and there are some servers running in production, but there is. Oh, we're not getting any sound anymore.
That's just on
I'm
his
just
side.
unmuted. Just on his side. I unmuted. I still hear you. Us.
Oh, he was talking about you. Okay. Yeah, so that is definitely something that's out there. There's some servers running production, things like that. So just to kind of give a heads up on that. So that is a real thing, and that's what we're talking about with the OneSync dev server for New Age RP, is they're probably going to start working on that and try to get something stable so that they can increase the number of players in server, which should be pretty awesome.
Yeah, get on that, Ark.
Let's see here. Any other questions? Doesn't look like we have any other questions. Anybody else want to address any comments in the chat? One last thing I do want to mention before we go on: any other server owners, server devs that are that are the primary devs for any servers that would like to have your server covered in the server spotlight, just go to the Discord channel where you can. We have a channel called guest request and sponsorship inquiries. So just go in there, type a message. We'll pull you out, talk to you a little bit, and we'll see what we can do about getting some guests on the show. Also, devs can post in there too, because we're about to do our scripts of the week. We got 3 scripts that we're going to be covering. And let's take a look at the first one. So the first script that I picked out for this week's Scripts of the Week is called ESXKR Vehicle Push. Basically what this allows is for you to push broken vehicles off of the road. This is really nice, especially with servers that have DV disabled or no way to delete vehicles, and there's just random dead cars in the middle of the road. So really, it looks like a pretty simple script. I've got a little video here. We'll go ahead and play that real quick. There's no audio or anything. It just shows. Oh, skip ad. Maybe. There we go. Basically just shows the ability to push it. What's kind of cool too is when you push it forward, the wheels turn to the right. When you push it backwards, the wheels turn to the left, which can help you get it turned. And then
Actually, you can actually turn it with the when you're pushing it, you can actually turn.
Oh, really? Okay,
the wheel
that's even better.
As you're pushing, yep.
That is super cool. I think this is just really beneficial, especially, like I said, especially for those servers that have DV disabled. Any comments on this, Nick?
I think it looks pretty cool.
It's just really handy, and I think that would be pretty awesome script to have put in game.
If they could make that work better with the push bars on a lot of police cars, I think that would be cool too.
Yeah, the issue I'm seeing currently is modified vehicles, custom vehicles, things like that. It kind of gets a little weird, and it was. I'm actually doing it right. Okay, so it is.
Oh, you have it in server?
Yeah, I'm running it right now in server. Actually, it's up on my screen right now.
Yep. Let me switch over to your screen here.
So, yep, just walk up to the thing, hit Shift E, and you push, and then if you're talented enough to hit your your other steering buttons, you can. It's full one way or full the other way. There's no center. The only way to, so when you get to the point where you want to center the vehicle, you gotta, you know, jump back in the vehicle. The wheels will then center. Yeah. And then shift E. And then you can push straight. It actually seems to have fixed itself now. It was having some problems with something, one of the updates where you would actually sink into the ground and push and then stand up and be pushing it. But we are actually using real vehicle fail. So we have to get to a certain point of damage, and I do believe the script is written that way too. You have to get to a certain point of damage before you can push the vehicle. So you can't just, let's go over here and pull this person out of the car. Here, get out. I want your car. Have your car? Thank you. I know I'm an asshole. All right. So this car's good. It doesn't allow me to push it. So there's no option. You have to get to a certain level of damage. Uh-oh. Didn't want to do that. See if that worked, though. Is that enough damage? Yep. So now that I'm at a certain level of damage, now I can push that vehicle. Yep. There's a couple scripts by this KR, whoever does these KR scripts. There's a couple different scripts. Very simple scripts that are pretty nice. As you could see in the video that he was, that you played, that he had that backpack on. That's part of, he did that one too, where you can drop a backpack and other people can pick the backpack up. Or a bag or something. Yeah. Seems to be a new script writer on the, yes, I do believe that you can store things in that bag. I looked. I think so. Maybe we'll have to look into that one and spotlight that one next week, and play with it a little bit. But yeah,
Absolutely.
It's nice. And this is one of the custom cars coming to the server here very shortly. Like I was saying, you'd see one of them. But yeah, like this one, being that it has the wing, you can see that I'm, clipping through the wing.
Gotcha.
So it's not.
It's not terrible, but it's not great. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, it's FiveM physics. There's only so much you can do with FiveM physics. And there's no way for every script writer to know every modification for every vehicle out there that script would be 30 billion lines of code, to make it work. But at least it gives you some functionality. And I saw it and loved it and put it on the server and didn't tell anybody about it. And like, what's this? And I saw people pushing, cars down Vespucci the other day just for fun. I think they were having a race who could push the car faster.
So yeah, you should definitely make. I kind of don't like the fact that you can only push it when it's at a certain damage level, because if you're driving a vehicle and it just runs out of gas,
I think gas is part of it too. I think if it's, I would have to actually look at the script. I haven't played. We modified the damage threshold a little bit because we changed the damage of real vehicle failure.
Gotcha.
A little bit. I haven't dug too much into the script. Let's see, how much fuel's in this car? Oh, there's 78%. There's no way I'd be able to. Well, let's go like this. If I can type. Well, let's see here. What's this one got? Hey, that's a new livery. So yeah, I would have to do some testing. I can get back on that one. But
gotcha. All right. And then let's see, the next script we have up, I've got, it's called Video Stream. I think this is going to be pretty huge. I'd love actually to see you put this in your server in the maybe the cinema or something. Where
I do have it sitting on my desktop waiting to go in.
do you really? So the really cool thing about this is you can use basically RTMP, which is the same method that OBS, well, that all the Twitch, YouTube, all them use to receive live stream videos. It's the same thing, just runs in game. It's basically just a RTMP video player that you can really attach to anything. I think you can put it basically anywhere you want, right?
From my understanding, yeah, it has the couple default locations, but in theory, you just got to set coordinates.
So it'd be really cool to put potentially on like the TVs and the houses and stuff, and just have like random stuff playing. You know, do a movie night if you have the get a sit script and to where people can actually sit in the movie theater. Load up a movie theater and do a movie night with a group of people one night. I think that'd be kind of cool as well. So I wouldn't talk during that movie because you're likely to get shot. But no, I think this is.
I would like to see the ability of that to live. Like I said, I haven't looked at it. I don't know. I think it would be cool to live stream.
Oh, we could do that with a multi. We could do that with a RTMP server and stream. Oh, you're saying stream like different channels to where they could change channels on the TVs or something?
Well, not so much that, but like say we have someone that's on the server
Live streaming.
Actually on Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, or on YouTube or
this show?
Monday nights at 8:00 Central. Everybody on the server goes to the theater and watches live.
Yeah.
You know, the FNA show.
No, absolutely.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah,
I would imagine it's probably possible.
Yeah, I think that should be. The cool thing about it is it's just RTMP. So whoever, you know, if somebody's streaming to the RTMP server, there should be a way to do it. The ability to potentially change channels and things, I think, is going to be a little bit different. You'd have to write a script, probably an additional script for that, and then it can change the RTMP server that's going to that particular TV or something like that. So, but yeah, that is definitely potential to then be able to choose which RTMP server they want to watch. So if, you know, there's a couple different streamers going, and they're also streaming to RTMP, the RTMP server, then that's definitely an option. So, but that'll work much better, obviously, with a multi-stream server. So, but it looks very simple and easy to use. You know, obviously placing the video in some custom locations might be a little tricky. Doing something like I don't know, what's it called? Can't think. Times Square, where they have the big TV display out in Times Square. You know, trying to do something like that might be a little bit trickier, but it looks pretty interesting.
Definitely.
And then we'll go ahead and take a look at the last one I have here. So the last one is a script called Paradise Area, and it's nothing like what it sounds. It kind of is, but kind of isn't. So I think a lot of the issue with some of the hot spots and stuff you set up to like refuel or park your cars. I know that I've seen in the advanced garage that you can set up your own areas to park cars and stuff. But basically, instead of it being just a round circle, you can actually customize the shape of the circle. You can actually set it the property boundaries, things like that. So instead of it being a circle, you could actually lock off this whole area here. And in this particular case, let's say that's the prison, right?
Yep, that's the prison.
Yeah, so in this particular scenario, if somebody is wearing the prison uniform and goes outside the red, it could set off the alarm. Or imagine using something like this for like a battle royale. Or parking lots. So the normal area is a round area. The parking lots are not round. So this could potentially allow you to go into the garage and literally park, into a parking lot and park anywhere, and then you can save the vehicle into your car, versus having to park in a specific spot or this spot or that spot. And then for spawning vehicles, then you could have the different spots picked out for where the vehicle's supposed to spawn. I just feel like this could be used in safe areas around hospitals, police stations, things like that.
The default login area.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's just so many places that you could use a not round entry, or I don't even know what it's called, marker, to be able to trigger different scripts and things like that. So they call it Paradise because it's a safe zone, but I kind of like the fact that it can be used a lot of other places.
Hashtag safe space.
Paradise Area is the name of that script. And any of these scripts, you get them in server, definitely take some pictures, send them off to us. You can shoot them out to our Twitter, and it's at the FNA show. We're also on Instagram at the FNA show. So we got a couple places that you could tag us at and send us your pictures of those scripts. So yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. Nick, when you were doing dev work for a server, how handy would have something like this been to be able to kind of customize the area exactly how you wanted it, versus trying to resize test the built-in markers?
Would have been very handy.
Oh, looks like you're having trouble with your audio. But in case anybody didn't hear him, he said it would have been very handy. So let's take... So go back. I should have probably pulled that up on full screen. I apologize. And let's see. I think that's pretty much it for topics. Definitely be happy to go ahead and take any other comments or questions. You guys see any comments or questions that you'd like to address?
The never mind, LOL. Oh no, that's not a question, comment. Never mind.
I
would like to know why Ark is not in here. Talking with us. He's been invited, and he seems.
He has been invited to the show.
Hey, at least he's watching this one. He still, he says he still hasn't even watched episode 1 yet.
That's all right. This one the quality is significantly better. We just definitely been working all week to improve production quality. No bed behind me. No green screen.
You made me tired all last week.
No green wall behind you. So yeah, we've definitely improved some things here. Obviously a couple of the other hosts, they need to get their video setups, or studios, we'll call it, set up and things like that. But yeah, definitely working on production quality. We have some new logos. We got, instead of using Hangouts on Air, we're using OBS, and pushing out some scenes that were created. We have the chat displayed. We got cameras. We got, it's definitely a much better, I think, feel and solution than what we had the first week. So let us know how you guys are liking that, and let's see if we can find some comments here. Officers in game are the ones complaining about having to log in every time. That's why I brought it up, just to hear your thoughts. No, and that, I think it's worth hearing, but they have to realize at some point that once the CADs become, the more advanced they become, the more personal information that they might store about them. Discord logins, TeamSpeak information, things like that, and it's also an access point potentially into the server, especially if there's scripts and things like that. Typically it's going to have access to the same database that you would see ESX have access to potentially, or things like that. So just keeping the security tight is the way to do it. And just, I guess if they're complaining about it, then they should just know that it's there for security reasons, and that's all there is to it, I guess.
And really, if we're having issues with people complaining that much, we'll just stick chip on them.
There you go. So the chip says the tablet uses iframe, and Steam blocks that. Now it might block it. Does it? I don't know if it might block the site in general, but I don't know if it'll block just the login. So we'll have to. I'm sure there's some testing that'll have to be done on that, and maybe there's a way to change that tablet from using iframe to NUI or something like that.
Yeah, I don't deal much with the tablet. That's more Ziff's side of it, because he does all the website and all that handling. I'm kind of stuck busy doing 1.5 billion other things.
And
I guess while you're trying to figure out something, we got 10 people watching.
Yeah.
Well, why is there not 10 thumbs up? Come on, guys. We're not, or thumbs down. Either way, come on. Everybody in here should be doing something. Oh, there's a 4th. I like that.
Nice.
You know.
Very nice.
The more that we get, you know, positive reinforcement, the more my feelings aren't hurt, and the more work I do on servers. Just saying. I like my ego boosted.
So I guess that's gonna be pretty much it for the show. Let's go ahead and do a recap. Some of the key takeaways here. Discord identifiers are in beta. They're available. FiveM.js, so using a JavaScript wrapper to get access to some of those C# classes is going to be huge. Metro MDT, that's available right now in beta. Go check that out. New Age RP, and that's newagerp.com. That's the server spotlight. And then we had ESX KR, Vehicle Push, Video Stream, and Paradise Area as the scripts of the week. If make sure everybody takes a look at our goes ahead and follows along on the discussion on our Discord. Link is in the chat, also in the description, and send us some messages on Twitter and Instagram. We're going to be trying to get some stuff posted up there. We're going to be trying to get some notifications and things out there about what's going on. Any topics you'd like to see on the show, feel free to shoot those through as well. You can send those through on the Discord or through Twitter. And in the near future, we're going to be multi-streaming. So we're going to stream both to YouTube and Twitch. So be looking out for that as the time comes. So that's probably a few weeks out yet, but that's definitely something available. And who knows, maybe we'll multi-stream into New Age RP as well. Directly into server, so
we'll get that going.
We'll take a look at that. Other than that, any questions, concerns? We'd like to see some sponsor inquiries. Anybody that's willing to do that. We'd like to see some other server owners, some other reputable developers that have several scripts out there. KR, if you end up watching, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to have you on the show. And that goes along to any of the other big developers in the FiveM community. I'm JustWeb. We've got Rusty.
I'm Rusty.
And Nick, I think his audio kind of messed up, but
my sound is working. I'm Nick.
Yeah, that's Nick. And thanks for watching the show. Appreciate it, guys.